Nigerians in Calabar laments unavailability of petrol and hike in transportation. Federal government cautions power generating industry players against blame game, promises solution to sufficient cash flow within the sector. Plus, Academic Staff Union of Universities extend ongoing nationwide strike by 8 weeks. Details in just a moment. Good evening and welcome to Nta Calabar News at 7. I am Ode Alenyo, and now the news in detail. Nigerians are lamenting unavailability of premium motor spirit, otherwise called petrol, which has resulted in long queues surfacing in filling stations in Calabar. Uduak Etim reports that while some filling stations in Calabar metropolis were under lock and key, others that have the products were dispensing at exorbitant rates. The report.
The fuel scarcity is inducing not just hike in transportation, but hike in prices of commodities as petrol pump price has continued to rise on daily basis. In Calabar, the Cross River State capital, most stations are under lock and key, while few stations that open are selling the product between 165 to 200 naira per litre.
In some filling stations, you see 210. Back then in Akpabuyo, it's 210 naira per litre. Here, as I'm standing, it's because it's 165.
The experience is too tough. I just pray the government should do something about it.
It's a bit quite unfortunate that I left my work where I'm supposed to be handling a lot of things just to come and queue on the filling station to get the fuel.
For about 4 days now, there are long queues in most filling stations, leaving Nigerians on lamentation.
Things are really getting out of hand. The queues are there. Many filling stations are not selling. I wouldn't know whether they're hoarding, but I think things are not just the way people expected.
The NNPC depot doesn't have product for now. Because if NNPC depot have product, they are the ones supplying town. And we are still expecting. They've been trying all possible best. The little one that we had now, although like today, they are going to ration some few trucks for intervention.
The fuel scarcity has created avenue for the black marketers to make brisk business as those who cannot wait on the queue patronize them. In Calabar, Uduak Etim, NTA News.
The surge in the price of premium motor spirit due to scarcity is taking a toll on other facets of the economy, making daily commuting a challenge. This is occasioned by the hike in transport fares, which commuters describe as unbearable. Justina Etom reports.
The fuel scarcity sweeping across the country for over a month now has trickled down to Calabar metropolis, bringing with it untold hardship. One of the challenges caused by the fuel scarcity is inability of commuters to access means of transportation on time, as most commercial drivers are trapped in fuel stations, queuing to purchase the product, while transport fares have increased by 100%.
I'm working at Akpabuyo. I was very shocked this morning when they have added almost double price of transport. So it was too much to bear. I didn't have any option than to pay. Since I'm a teacher, I have to go.
I've been here for over 3 hours. I have not seen a vehicle. And the one I saw charged me so high that I cannot afford to pay the price. You wake up in the morning, first thing in your mind is, how do you go and get petrol? You come and queue up hours on the filling station. How will you not be productive for that day?
Commuters lament that short distance fare, which was 50 naira, has increased to 100 naira, while long distance fares have also doubled.
It's hitting hard on us. For yesterday, when I was coming, I paid 4,000 from Ogoja instead of 2,500 that we used to pay. And now as I'm going, I don't even know, I've not even seen a vehicle.
Nigeria has no business with fuel queues, considering the amount of oil that we have and the rate of production every day. But I don't know. We prefer to import something that we have so much in the country.
There is nothing one can experience apart from hardship, increment in the price of commodity and every other thing. So even for you to find transport fare in the morning to go to work, it's difficult.
Respondents call on relevant authorities to step up efforts in finding a lasting solution to the fuel crisis. In Calabar, Justina Etom, NTA News.
The scarcity of Jet A1 fuel for aircraft is inflating costs of operations for domestic airlines while passengers are presently paying the price. The impact is huge, but the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has given assurance of a quick solution. Michael Oluleye has details of that report.
The aviation industry globally is a highly commercialized market in which the exchange rate determines the value of all other intervening factors. From aviation fuel to other operational costs, conversion is done in dollars. The effect of this, however, is that airfare, like a gravitational force, is always on the upward trend. Recent developments surrounding the scarcity of Jet A1 is following the principle of demand and supply, in which price hike is expected where supply is low. Presently, the price of Jet A1 is put at about 700 naira per litre, creating an almost impossible mission for airlines to operate.
I've been mentioning it for the past 8 years, if not 10 years, that the rate of ticket against the dollar is very low. It doesn't make economic sense. And they have been doing it because government has been subsidizing. In what form? Intervention fund.
At the domestic wing of the Murtala Muhammed Airport, Lagos, aircrafts are not totally grounded, but their availability comes at a huge cost for the passengers, sometimes at around 40% increase.
We cannot continue to have this kind of problem because it makes somebody not to be able to plan very well.
I left the hotel thinking I was going to fly and meet my contact in Abuja, but I've missed that altogether.
Although the sharp hike in price of Jet A1 and its availability is not within the purview of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, but since the development has direct impacts on the operations in the industry, finding a quick solution is at arm's length.
The GMD of NMPC promised to look at it, and going by his track record, I'm quite sure we're going to see a positive improvement very shortly.
Individuals' business trips and engagements are presently affected by the development, but key players in the industry do not expect a scenario that could cripple the economy.
For now, having about 10 airlines in this country.
In view of the current poor power supply nationwide, federal government has cautioned industry players against blame game and should rather support government as it continues to deploy solutions aimed at sustaining sufficient cash flow within the sector. The report is presented from our studio.
A statement by the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC (NBET), federal government says, contrary to claims by generation companies that it owed them more than 1 trillion naira, which is now responsible for poor gas supply and technical challenges in some generating plants. Government clarified that NBET makes payment to generation companies as at when due and never defaulted any payment cycle till date. Federal government states that the percentage payment made to generation companies has continued to increase, with 701.9 billion naira, representing 80% generation companies' invoices for the year 2018 and 2019. While 600 billion naira representing 95% payment for 2020. Only 2 weeks ago, federal government says it paid more than 38 billion naira to generation companies for December 2021 payment cycle and is currently processing additional payments for tariff shortfall. Federal government assures all industry players and electricity consumers of its commitment to improve the current power supply and sustain the gains recorded in the sector. Electricity consumers in the country have been experiencing poor power supply for some weeks, which industry records attribute to poor gas supply, scheduled and unscheduled maintenance of power plants, as well as water management in Shiroro and Jeba dams.
You are watching news reaching you live from the studio of Nta Calabar. You can watch this newscast on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Nta Calabar. We'll go in a short break. We'll be back shortly. Don't go away. Welcome back to the rest of our stories. Today is World Mathematics Day, and the National Mathematics Center is utilizing the day to recognize the girl child in performing excellently in mathematics quiz competitions in all states of the country, courtesy of the Sustainable Development Goals. Abdul Malik Hassan has details.
March 14th is here, celebrated in many countries as Pi Day. This is because the date is written as 3 power 14, depicting the mathematical constant pi, that is approximately 3.14. So this day is all about mathematics.
It means therefore that mathematics is the
Logical
science of
it
life.
is. In Nigeria, the Pi Day 2021-2022 is marked in recognition of the girl child.
It is important to state that no nation grows and develops without appropriate knowledge and application of mathematics. The unfolding scenario of international events in times when nations in this modern age, the 21st century, invade a sovereign nation as a result of advancement in science and technology shows the importance of mathematics in international politics and armaments.
From the classrooms to the quiz desk, these students challenged their way to becoming first class among their peers. So 161 of them were recognized, 36 of them received gold medals, and 125 presented with Amazon certificates. And Onyebuchi Jewel from Federal Government College Owerri crowned as 2021 Mathematics Queen.
It's a very diverse subject. Most people are afraid of it, but the truth is that when you know the formulas and when you're used to it, you can get to any equation or problem they give to you to solve. I'm happy that I've come along this way and God not allow me to go back without anything.
Scientific it is, but mathematics is here believed to be a key factor to logical reasoning, technology and development. So the girl child is encouraged to love and make mathematics a daily lifestyle. Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
The Academic Staff Union of University, ASU, has extended the ongoing nationwide strike by 8 weeks to allow government more time to address all the issues in concrete terms for students to resume as soon as possible. A statement by ASU President Professor Emmanuel Osodeke says the decision to extend the strike was reached in Abuja after the National Executive Council of the Union's emergency meeting to review the previous interactive meeting with agents of government. In the last 4 weeks, the strike has lasted. ASU has been on strike as a result of what it regarded as government failure to satisfactorily implement the memorandum of action it signed with the union in December 2020 on funding for revitalization of public universities, both federal and state, recognition of the 2009 federal government and ASU agreement, deployment of the University Transparency and Accountability Solution, ends academic allowances in state universities and promotion areas, as well as withheld salaries. Most stranded Nigerians are coming back home, with the latest set of 31 arriving this morning from Romania. The evacuees this time were aboard a commercial flight which the federal government paid for due to low number of persons as initially planned in the evacuation exercise. INEC has published the final list of candidates for the June 18 Ekiti governorship election. 16 out of the 18 political parties filed in candidates with 14 males and 2 females. Olabisi Kolawole is the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Abiodun Oyebanji for the APC, while Olusegun Adebayo Oni for the SDP. Following the Electoral Act 2020 that gives political parties to start campaigns 150 days to an election, campaign activities have fully commenced for the governorship election. Welcome back to the rest of our news. In order to fulfill the progressive ideals of the present administration in the area of improved human condition, the federal government has inaugurated 76 housing units in Kogi State to reduce housing deficit in the country. Francis Ndojo has details.
I have the singular honor and privilege of unveiling this housing project for the service to humanity and God.
That was the unveiling of the federal government housing scheme project in Kogi State by the representative of the Minister of FCT. The 76 housing units has 48 units of 2-bedroom bungalow, 24 units of 3-bedroom bungalow, and 4 units of 1 bedroom. The projects were awarded in November 2016.
The progressive ideals of our government seek to achieve one primary objective, which is to improve the human condition.
Being the first of 3 phases, the housing scheme has features such as road network, overhead water tank, and electricity.
We are happy that our optimism in the successful execution of this project has not been misplaced, and for that we are extremely grateful to Almighty God.
The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, and the Chairman Senate Committee on Works and Housing, Dr. Sam Egu, as well as the Governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, all represented at the event.
We have offered all these housing units to members of the general public in a non-discriminatory way by providing the National Housing Portal.
On our own part as legislators, we will do the best we can to ensure that we provide appropriate legislative backings to both the public and private sectors so that they can provide affordable houses to Nigerians.
Data obtained from the housing sector indicates a 22 million housing deficit, but with this initiative, it is expected that the deficit would have been reduced to the barest minimum. In Lokoja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
An early morning auto crash along Kaduna Zaria Road, Rikachukun, killed 6 passengers traveling from Warri to Jigawa State. Eyewitness accounts revealed that the vehicle swerved at a sharp bend along Rikachukun area of Kaduna as a result of overspeeding. Officials of the Federal Road Safety Corps have evacuated the dead bodies to a mortuary and other passengers who sustained injuries for treatment. And to end the news, let's take a quick look at some of the stories that make the headlines. Residents in Calabar have lamented the unavailability of petrol and hike in transportation fare in recent time. The federal government has cautioned the power generating industry players against blame game while promising solution to sufficient cash flow within the sector in the country. You also heard in the news that Academic Staff Union of Universities has extended ongoing nationwide strike by 8 weeks to allow government more time to address all issues in contention. That's it on our news for tonight. From me is good night.